I'm laying here by the victim. She's shot everywhere. Don't move, baby. She trying to run. Don't move, baby. Don't move.
EMS arrived to the scene, find a woman that the 911 called about, still alive with gunshot wounds. They also find another young woman with a gunshot and a male victim deceased on the scene. They rushed the two women to the hospital. The second one died on her way to the hospital. So as the detectives arrive on the scene, they see the male victim had a wallet on him. He was identified as Clarence Cherry. He went by the nickname of Pooch. He was also a husband and a father. So they go inside the apartment where the two women were. See, they had been tied up in there and had something over their eyes. It was execution style. They also find a couple baby carriages in the house, ages 6 months and 2 years old. The woman that died on the way to the hospital was identified as Andrea Webster, also known as Angel. She was also a mother. Her best friend, Denasia Brown, was the one who was shot beside her. She's in surgery right now. So as they look out the blinds, they see the victim car parked outside. So now they're assuming this may have been a setup. They tied the women up, had them call him over so they can kill him. They found 15 shell casings on the scene. They also traced the blood trail from the surviving victim.
Out of the car, started running, and see the perfect trail coming right around? Yeah. And then finally when he falls, they just pumped him up right there. He stripped over the hammer.
The deceased victim, Angel's sister, shows up on the scene. Detectives talk to her inside their car, see if they can get a little background on Angel and Pooch. She states that her sister wasn't into anything. It had to been him that they was looking for. They asked her, did they know if he was involved in any drugs or anything? She states she don't know, but every time she would call her sister and ask where he at, she would say he out of town. She also says that Pooch doesn't even live there, so why would somebody come there looking for him? But other than that, she really don't know. So the detectives wrap up that interview. So the next morning, they get a call from the hospital stating that Denasia will survive. She was shot right up in the forehead, right above the eye, and it exited through her shoulder blade. So detectives head up to the hospital, see if they can speak with her. Denasia said 2 men burst into Angel's house, put tape over their eyes and their mouth. They made Angel call Pooch. When Pooch showed up, she said they couldn't see nothing because they had tape over their eyes, but they heard gunshots outside. She said a couple minutes after that, Angel was shot right next to her. Then she was shot. She said she blacked out. When she came to, woke up, the man was gone. She started running. She also gave a description of the 2 suspects. One of them, she said, was light-skinned, about 6'1". She said the other one was about 5'5", with braids or twisties in his head. And she's seen him at parties before around the neighborhood, but she doesn't know his name. So the detectives wrap that up, head back to the station, get on the computer, pull up mug shots of people in that neighborhood. It came up with 706 people. So they got to try to narrow that down. So then they put with braids or twists in her, and they was able to narrow it down to where they could take a photo lineup up to the hospital and see if any one of those is the guy that she saw. So they arrive at the hospital, show Denasia some photos. She picks out one of the guys. He's identified as Lakari Berry. She say he the one that busted in with the light-skinned guy and tied her up. So now they set out to find Lakari. So they track down Lakari Berry at a hotel, bring him down to the interview room to see what they can get out of Lakari.
The girl that you shot, you knew her, and she knows you, and she lived. I said, pick out the guy. And she did it with one eye.
They tell Lakari that they really want the second guy. Lakari tell him, well, when you catch the first one, then he can tell you who the second one is. So they tell Lakari opportunity only comes knocking once, trying to get him to tell who the other guy is. Lakari said he ain't do nothing. They could produce it in the courtroom, and he'll see him at trial. Then Lakari start laughing about it. So they book Lakari on first-degree murder, set out to try to find the other suspect. So after 10 months has gone by, someone came forward and identified the second shooter. They took a photo of him to the surviving victim. She picked him out. He was identified as Vincent Smothers. He was a husband and a father. So they picked Vincent Smothers up from his home, bring him down to the interrogation room. Smothers states that it was a contract hit for $10,000. He said he brought Lakari in on it, and the hit was over drugs. He said he had been hired 2 weeks prior to the murder taking place. That gave him time to do his homework, figure out where he's going, what time he be here and there. He also states Lakari told him that the woman that lived knew him. And he told Lakari that the women had nothing to do with the hit. So when Pooch pulled up, he went outside, fired, he hopped out the car, started running, he kept firing. When it was over, he seen Lakari coming out. He asked him what happened. Lakari said that he shot the women. Vincent Smothers eventually pled guilty to second-degree murder. He received a 52-year sentence. Lakari Berry was convicted of 2 counts of first-degree murder, 1 count of assault with intent to murder. He received a life sentence. Vincent Smothers went on to confess to 12 other killings. 4 of them, someone else has been convicted of, even though Vincent Smothers confessed to doing it. The first one was Willie Watson. He killed him smoking a cigarette on his porch. The second was Adrian Thornton. Had a hit on his back over a drug dispute. The third was Carl Thornton, who is the brother of Adrian. He killed him 5 months later. The fourth victim was Marshall White. White was killed when his car stalled. Smothers fired through the windshield. The next victim was Johnny Marshall. He was shot as he looked under the car's hood. The next 2 victims was Clarence Cherry and Guadriel Webster, the 2 from this case here. Also confessed to killing Rose Cobb. She was the wife of a Detroit police sergeant. Vincent Smothers said that job there made him want to get out the killing business. He also stated that he felt she was innocent. Next video I'll be doing will be Uncommon Valor. Thank you for watching. Hit that like button. Leave me some comments. Stay safe out there. Done talking.
I was, do my homework, find out what time he come and go, and the usual stops, things like that. And just pulling him to the back where a car will be, and he fired the first shot, continued to fire.